Yeah, it's been funded. Today on the channel, we give an update on the new generation ring, its funding, a recap, and where we go from here. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another special figure discussion video. And today we're going to talk about the new generation ring from Mattel. It's been crowdfunding for a while now, and as of 8/13, we are 100% funded. And I thought it'd be perfect time to do a follow-up video for my previous video during the height of the campaign. So if you missed that video or you missed anything on the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel first off, hit the old notification bell. As we're unboxing figures, we're discussing figures, we're doing a whole lot, not just wrestling, across the board. So make sure you subscribed. But go back a couple days in my videos and you can see my deep dive into the new generation ring. My thoughts on the good, the bad, the ugly from my business experience, my wrestling collector experience, and from some probably your guys' experience and commentaries out there on the subject. But today's video, we're going to celebrate. We got this thing backed and we're going to talk about the hows, the whys, how this happened, when this happened, why this happened, and everything else under the sun. Just a nice bookend follow-up discussion about the new generation ring. And we'll also talk about where do we go from here. So first off, let's recap really quick. Most of you guys probably don't know this, but hey, let's recap it because maybe 10 years down the line we'll want to watch this video and say, oh, let's recap this. But that's what we're going to do. So recap, they laid the groundwork for the funding, the crowdfunding via MattelCreations.com. The announcement came, we were getting an Ultimate Diesel. We were getting a real scale ring, you know, real wood boards, mats, everything else, turnbuckles, just beautifully done ring. And then the entrance stage that does light up. So that was announced first. If we hit 5,000 backers, bam, that was going to be put into production. But the stretch goals were in place as well. 7,000 subscribers, buyers, purchasers, whatever you want to call it. 7,000 was going to be the Doink the Clown Ultimate. An awesome looking Doink. A little bit of a head scratcher as you think of Ultimates being tippy top guys, but Doink, definitely one you can have some fun with in your Ultimate creations, the extra heads, all that kind of stuff. That was the 7K stretch goal. Then the 8K stretch goal was the ring skirts, different skirts for the ring. I talked about it in my original video, which I say go back and watch. I felt that was a bit of a weak stretch goal, the ring skirts. We'll talk a little bit about it here very shortly here. But then, you know, things were going slow. We know things were slow. They were off to a slow start. There was a lot of head scratching, a lot of people wondering. We're not sure where this project would go. There was a lot of people that were for it, of course, people in the middle, people that didn't want it. The usual gamut of emotions people have on anything. But then, you know, sales were slow. They were off to a very slow start, very sluggish. There was a lot of concern in the community that this was not going to be backed, not going to happen. So what did the Mattel team do? They came in hot with an added-on bonus figure, and that was Macho Man Randy Savage WrestleMania 10 gear with extra head with headset, an announcer's table, 2 blue chairs, 2 microphones, some bells and whistles to sweeten up the pot. And like I said in my video, I really felt that to launch something like this, you have to come with some of the big three, and that's Macho, Warrior, Hogan. Those are the big three. I know you could probably put Rock in there, you could put Stone Cold in there, maybe Michaels. I know some people have said that. But I think breadth of collectors, people that have been around 40 years, I think those are the big three that I talked about. But you could put your guy in there if you think that would work. But they came in hot with that Macho Man. I think that's what really gave a little flames to the fire, got us going. We got cooking with gas, and things started moving along once that Macho Man was put in there. They did put the caveat in there, though. Macho Man only good through 8/13, Friday night, August 13th, buy now or forever hold your peace. You're not getting the Macho Man. That was a huge gamble by the Mattel team that really, I guess everything could have went one or two ways, but that could have really blown up in their face, or that could have been a great idea, and it seems to have worked out in Mattel's favor, and it was absolutely a great idea and a great play. In hindsight, of course. So that was kind of the recap. That's where we went. We did get funded. The dust has settled. I'm filming this on 8/14, Saturday morning of 8/14. The dust has settled. Where are we now? So let's talk about it. The ring, 100% funded. Kudos to everybody out there. We are getting Doink. We are getting the ring skirts, we're getting Macho Man, we're getting Diesel, we're getting the entrance stage. The ring is coming home. It's all coming here. Here was a live look at me last night when Doink the Clown was announced as being backed.
Dad, Doink the Clown got funded!
What? So you could tell I was very enthused. I was in my playroom. I was just hanging out, and my daughter came down to give me the great news that we were getting, in fact, a Doink the Clown. And I'll mention it right now. I think I mentioned it in the last video as well. I backed 2 of these rings. There's a lot of people that backed more than 2 of these rings. It's just crazy how this all caught fire overnight. But if you did not order Macho by 8/13, Friday 8/13, you're not getting Macho Man. So anybody that ordered from, I think it was like 11 o'clock Eastern, Central, whatever, Friday night, till 8/22 when it ends, if you order, you are not getting that Macho Man pack. So I know that's upsetting to some people. Maybe we'll discuss that in a little bit as well. But I wanted to put that out there. It'll be very interesting where this whole program, this whole crowdfunding thing ends on August 22nd. I would love to know if you are planning on backing between now and then. Is there anybody out there? We talked about that in the first video as well. I just don't see why anyone would back it now without the Macho Man. I could see people say maybe they didn't have the money during that time, but man, that's really, I guess sad's the word. It just sucks that if you were in that position, you couldn't get that Macho Man figure for free. That's a lot of bonus for free if you would have backed a couple days earlier. But hey, I get it. You know, finances are finances. There's no change in the plan there. But if you are planning on backing without Macho Man, please let me know in the comments. I would really be interested to know that thinking. You would think if you don't, oh, I don't want the Macho Man, well, get it and sell it. You could at least get some of your money back. But it'll be interesting. I have to think we'll be at a snail's pace through the 22nd, but stranger things have happened. We saw with this whole thing over the last couple of days. It caught fire like never, beyond everybody's wildest expectations, I would say. But very interesting there on the Macho if you're going to back. A little conspiracy theory stuff. I'm going to throw it out there. It's conspiracy theory. I feel like a young Jesse Ventura here. But were bots involved at all in this? Do we feel that there was maybe, you know, bots are all over the figure community all the time? I'm worried, and I hope it's not true. This is just me brainstorming conspiracy theories. But were bots involved somehow? Was some of this taken to the next level? Did we rise so much with the help of bots that weren't real? I hope that's not the case, but that's kind of where my mind went a little bit, just thinking the yin and the yang of everything. Now, the other question is, nobody pays for this ring till 8/22. That's when this all ends. How many of these transactions will go through? Were there fake cards set up? Were there people going to cancel or dispute? You know, that could bring the total back down. I don't know. I hope that's not the case, but we have through 8/22. That's when it will be paid. Did people sign up with cards where they don't have money in the account or won't have money? It'll get declined. You got to think there's going to be some of that. I hope it's not enough to pull anything down. Can people cancel orders? Did people get caught up in the mania of Friday, Thursday night through Friday? Did they get caught up in the mania and now are having buyer's remorse over the weekend? I hope that's not the case as well. But can you call and cancel? I think you can call Mattel and you can cancel your order. I hope there's not enough of that kind of shenanigans on the back end that would drop it down. And then I guess the question would be to Mattel out there, let's say for whatever reason, if there was some major bot catastrophe or something, if these all come back, does this still get funded? You would think no. So I don't know. I hope none of that is true, but that's just some of my mental conspiracy theories going on, and I wanted to just mention that in there. And it's also interesting, too, the Macho Man figure, a lot of the push was how rare this Macho Man is going to be. And this is all going to be rare at the end of the day, especially as the years go on. But, you know, saying, oh, this Macho Man will be 5,000 figures only made. Well, it's funny, as the more people that backed, the less rare the Macho Man got. And that was a big selling tool for a lot of people. But I think long run, you know, Macho Man, one of the big 3, like I said, you'll have no problem selling this Macho Man. He will be the most valuable ultimate of this package, maybe the most valuable thing in the package when all the dust settles and when everything's done. But it's funny, the Macho Man, people are rooting for Doink, and I was rooting for Doink. I wanted another ultimate. I'm not in here for the resell game for sure. I know some people are, and you know, kudos to them. It's everybody's prerogative to do what they want. But I was rooting for Doink, but at the same time as you're rooting to get Doink in the ring skirts, you're making the value of the Macho Man drop just a little bit. But I don't think anything crazy, so that's interesting. And then So we talked about dust settles. Where are we now? That's what I just covered. Now we're going to cover how did all this happen? How did this go from being really nervous last week when I made my first video, pleading, trying to beg, crawl, scratch our way to get to 5,000, we thought, to blowing away 8,000? How did this happen? And you know how it happened? Passion, hustle, hard work. The passion of Steve from Mattel and Robert from Mattel came through our computers, the airwaves, the TV, whatever your medium was of watching YouTube or social media and stuff like that. And the passion of the collectors out there and the passion of the wrestling fan community out there. Never in a million years, as divisive as we all are, as there's arguing, like any group. Marvel Legends has it. G.I. Joe has it in spades, believe you me. But everybody seemed to come together to unify one goal to get this thing funded. And I talked about in the last video, there was some naysayers out there. There was some people actively bashing the ring and trying to persuade people not to buy it. I'll never understand that. Just, say your piece and let people vote with their wallet. That's what I say. But the passion of Robert and Steve from Mattel to get after this, to really hammer home and really talk to the fan community and really be out there. Because, one of the biggest head scratcher things for me, and I don't think it was fully answered, and I don't know if it ever will be, but one of the biggest head scratching things is where they gave us the Macho Man, which I think we all absolutely loved. I don't know who would not love that, but they did say, hey, we're taking away our advertising budget. It ended up working out. We ended up getting everything. It got funded. I still don't understand the advertising comments, because you would have thought everything would be locked and loaded, ready to go right when the crowdfunding started. So I don't know what was actually pulled back on, but yeah, it is what it is. It's neither here nor there, but that was an interesting dynamic of this whole thing. But I got to say, once again, Steve and Robert, kudos for them to getting out, working extremely hard over the last few weeks. They went on many a podcast out there. I personally heard them on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, Fully Posable podcast, the Run-In podcast, the Fig Cave podcast, the Call Up podcast, and I'm sure there was more I missed out there. But they were working the circuit, talking to the fan base. And guess what? There was no budget behind that. I know some people didn't like my comments saying this is their passion, working off the clock. So people are like, oh, they're getting paid, they're clocking in. And I guess I don't know either way. But at the same time, they were taking the passion to go and interview and talk to the customers, talk to the consumers, talk to the wrestling fan community. And then multiple Twitters, Instagram lives, Twitter messages, like I said, stuff like that, Facebook group messages. They were out there hustling, a two-man team absolutely hustling to get this through. So kudos to those guys for getting after it. And then kudos to the wrestling fan base, the wrestling community fan base out there. I'm a part of Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, SirPaul64. Follow me on Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson on Instagram. Of course, subscribe to the YouTube. But people on social media, the Pickett's Pride, a Chair Shot, Wrestling Figure News Source. Of course, those podcasts I mentioned earlier. Those guys retweeting, posting, keeping this in everybody's eyes and ears, keeping this alive over the last couple of weeks, helping push forward, showing crowd updates of here's where we're funded, here's what we got to do, keeping this on the tip of every collector's tongue. It was the community just as much as Robert and Steve that willed this to being a thing. So kudos to those guys. Kudos to the YouTube people out there. Obviously, that's my preferred medium. That's where I do most of my business. I don't know, but that's where you find me on YouTube. I want to think, I'm sure somebody out there backed the ring off of my video. At least, how about this? I backed 2 rings based on my video. So I know we sold at least 2 thanks to me. And a lot of other YouTubers out there did videos as well on the ring. So it really was, it takes a village. I think Hillary Clinton said that one time. It takes a village. And it really did. Between Mattel's core team, the wrestling podcast, wrestling YouTube, the fan community, the Facebook groups, the Twitters, the social medias, everything combined brought this to success. So pretty awesome there. I did talk about in my video, why has Kevin Nash not promoted this? Well, funny thing, after this, about 12 hours after my video went live, who's promoting on Twitter? Old Kevin Nash. But it was really funny is it sounds like a lot of fans were asking him to support this ring, and it was the greatest tweet ever. Go look for it. Kevin said, I don't get anything financially from this, but the fans have been begging me. So I think he was like, I'm going to shut these people up. I'm sick of getting messages about this. I'm going to retweet this. But guess what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It helped. So thank you, old Big Sexy, getting that through for us, Kevin Nash. So that was pretty cool. Out of the kindness of his own heart, he posted it on social media. And then the thing I was talking about, WWE social media. We don't know the financials between Mattel, how much they're really making on things. You know, we found out Kevin Nash isn't making a cent from Diesel. So unfortunately for Kevin, he's not getting anything out of this per his tweet. But WWE social media did come out that day as well promoting it. And I thought, how hard is it for them to promote it? It's just they have a social media team. Just tweet it, retweet, do something, get the word out there. But I did notice in their promotion, their tweet on social media, it did have the little caveat there, a paid promotion. So I'm guessing Mattel paid for that tweet in a roundabout way. It's interesting because we didn't think there was going to be marketing budget, but they found a way, they worked something out, and I'm glad they did because no matter what you think about WWE.com, they got a lot more eyes on them than anybody in the wrestling figure community. So that really got the message out, casted a pretty wide net for everybody out there. So I think that was very important as well. And I talked about, you know, how did it happen? I talked to my first video. I felt like if yesterday, 8/13, if we didn't have this thing at 5,000, there was no way it was going to happen. And I'm just happy to report, obviously, that we got to the very end. But if we wouldn't have got there yesterday, I just don't see, with Macho Man being removed starting Saturday, if we were 1,000 short, how we could have got 1,000 without Macho. That was a huge gamble, like I mentioned, and it paid off. It was great thinking by the Mattel team. It scratched my head, and like I said, I have a business mind. I deal with stuff in a business world that relates kind of in a roundabout way to all this kind of stuff, so I definitely see every single side of how they went about this, and I've said it before in many different videos on the channel, you got to take risks to get to that next level, and that was a huge risk, saying Macho Man only threw the 813 when it ends 822. You know, if you don't take risks every once in a while, you're just going to be here. You take a risk, sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. That's just the way it goes, but you take a risk and it gets you to here, and we did see that with this crowdfunding. I thought it was a brilliant move. Like I said, I scratched my head a little bit, and I knew what they were getting at, and it could have went one or two ways. It could have failed, or it could have succeeded, and thankfully for all of us out there, it did succeed, so I like that a whole lot. And then, let's see, I got my notes here to keep me on track. Many people were paid on Friday. That was the other big thing I mentioned in my video. Payday, every Friday somebody's getting paid out there, depending on your pay schedule and all that kind of stuff. Me, I get paid on Thursdays. I'm not sure why, but I do. I get paid on Thursdays. But everybody backed, but a lot of people backed on Friday on payday, which we knew that was going to be a huge bump. Wednesday, Thursday, the needle started moving, and I said to myself, boy, Friday come payday, that's going to be a big one, because a lot of people are waiting to payday to get this thing, and that's exactly what we saw happen. So I think that was a big part of it. And then the unknown that I forgot to mention, it was in my notes, but I forgot. You know, I had all these notes here. I forgot. It was payday, but guess what else came on Friday? The child tax credits. Many Americans across the United States were getting, I think, $250 per kid, depending on your income levels and all that stuff, but I believe it's $250 per kid. So there's a lot of people that kid tax credit, guess what? It funded a ring. You could say, hey, that ring was for my kid, or it was for yourself. Whatever it was, between payday and that child tax credit coming Friday, I saw a few social media posts saying it felt like free money. Well, nothing's truly free if you dig into it, but in a way, I could see how that felt like free money to people, especially if you got a lot of kids. If you got 5 kids, oh my gosh, you got a big check on Friday. What's $250 for a ring, I think is what people said. So between payday and the child tax credit coming Friday, I think that really helped a lot of things. And then the thing that was kind of sweeping the internet a little bit was the Klarna app. I'd never really heard of Klarna. I've heard of these pay in fours, stuff like that, but that's what this was. Basically, you get 4, I think it's bi-weekly payments. It breaks up. Instead of having to pay that $250 all at once, it breaks it up for you, and 0% interest and all that kind of stuff going through that app. And I heard a lot of people were using that. That truly was a game changer for people. And it's funny, as you guys know on the channel, I'm into the G.I. Joe world, the Marvel world. I'm into a lot of toy worlds out there. And Galactus is currently trying to be crowdfunded by Hasbro. I don't think they'll have any problems getting there with Galactus, but it's definitely not the Sentinel. It's not some of the things of the past. But the Klarna app, the Marvel Legends people out there, the fan community, has taken notice from the wrestling community, and I see a lot of upswing of people using the Klarna app to back the Galactus figure. So there's some good out of that. Klarna's probably like, what the heck's going on? Why are all these people using our app all of a sudden? You know, we always have this steady. I'm sure they saw a spike, and we're probably trying to figure out what the heck's going on. But that was a cool one that came out there. I'm not sure who linked that out first, but whoever did, kudos, because I think it convinced a lot of people that were on the fence or were passing on it to take the plunge and get us the Macho Man, the Doink, and everything else under the sun. So that was a big, big deal, I thought. So that's how it happened. That's a little bit of how it happened. Now, what is next? Well, you know what is next? We sit here and we twiddle our thumbs for about a year. We patiently wait around 12 months until this is in our hands. Hopefully, during the next 12 months, I hope the Mattel team, and I have to think they're smart enough and they do know that to do this, but give us some Easter eggs along the way. Give us some updates. Say, hey, we got final box art for Doink, Diesel, and Macho Man. Hey, we got prototype images of these. We've got the entrance stage box. Here is the box for the ring. Hopefully we see all that stuff along the way. Give us updates along the way, because I said it before, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are out there, we hate people sitting on our money for a year, but if we get these little things along the way, I guess we stomach it better. I don't know if that's the right wording, but I think it's the first thing I thought of. But we can stomach it better if we're getting updates along the process, keeping us involved in the process. And I should mention, you know, the guys have done a great job so far. Steve, I believe it was his Instagram, Action Figure Attack on Twitter, he showed the entrance stage. And I understood what the entrance stage was. I had pictures of it. I'd seen it and stuff. But seeing it live and in person on his Instagram feed as he was doing a live feed, the picture with the Macho Man there, it really hit home in my head how big this stage was. I think myself and a lot of other collectors didn't realize how big this stage was going to be. And I think that really did help push things along. And it got me a lot more excited about that stage, because I really felt like the stage was a great thing, but it really is the sleeper of this whole set. A lot of people are transfixed on the ring and the figures, rightfully so, but this stage is a heck of a value. It's a heck of a piece with the lighting and stuff in there. I think it's really solid, and I think he drove that home, and I'm glad they got that. Once again, it goes back. I wish we would have saw that from day one, but hey, we got there at the end. That's all that matters. We got it, and it happened. Now we got a 12-month wait. 10 to 12 months, but most likely 12 months, the way these things go. But where does this go for the future? The community proved they would support, maybe slower than some of the other fan bases. There was some infighting, there was some discussion, but the fan base proved they would support this, and I think a lot of people did back this with, you know, maybe they weren't 100% all in excited about it, but they said, you know what? I know I want something like this. It's good enough. I don't know if that's the right terminology either, but I know by backing this, I can either make my money back and sell it, or I'm helping support the cause for the next big and better thing we get from Mattel Creations. So there's ways to look at it there. Some people out there have, said on social media too, well, now that we hit this, maybe they'll add a 10,000 spot. I don't see any of that. I think for all intents and purposes, they're done. Hey, they're going to keep tallying them up till the 22nd, but it's over. They're not adding anything extra to it. I just don't see that happening. I don't want to say they've asked enough of the community, but I think we're good here. We're good to go. Sure, we'd love to have more stuff, but I don't know if it makes it financially plausible right now. I think let's count where we're at now. Let's count this as a success. Let's move on and go from there. And like I've said before in my last video, constant learning, constant improvement, back to the drawing board, take lessons from this campaign. I guarantee Robert and Steve both have got a big notepad out and they said, here, what worked, what did not work. And like I said in my first video, go back and watch it. Watch these two together. You can see what worked and what did not work in my mind. I'm sure they have some of those same exact notes out there. I'm sure there's a lot of things they're going to do differently next time. I'm sure there is. I would guarantee it. I mean, that's constant learning, constant improvement. Every business, that's what they go through. What can we learn from this? What mistakes did we make? What can we learn from? What can we do better next time? What can we service our customers with better next time? And I guarantee the next one's going to be that much better. They're going to take all those learnings, taking learnings from Galactus, Sentinels, Unicrons, Barges, and everything else out there. And the next time will be even better, and we're going to keep growing upon this. Because the fan base said, hey, we will support. Yes, we're going to grumble. Yes, we're going to argue. Yes, there's going to be people that don't like it. Yes, there's going to be people that love it. All that kind of stuff. But the next go around, gonna top it. I can feel it already. I think Steve, Robert, Mattel, I think they're all excited. They're ready to get their claws into the next idea, and I personally can't wait to see what that is. Mattel upper brass has to be happy. We talked about that in the last video. Maybe they were handcuffing the Mattel guys. You know, we're not going to find out those details. They're not going to share that with us. But I got to think, hey, it was funded. It got through. This was a passion project of the WWE Mattel team. This showed the upper management guys at Mattel that things like this can work. We can do this with our properties. And I got to think they're going to be more receptive to hearing ideas in the future and probably said, hey, this is your guys' baby. It worked last time. We're going to trust you. That's the way it goes in business. I'm sure a lot of you guys have that in your own daily jobs all the time. I've had passion projects fail and pass. I launched a couple of new items, helped launch a couple of new items out there that were brainchilds of me and a customer. And, you know, I've had them succeed and I've had them flop. It goes both ways in business. So exciting times at the end of the day. I believe next time, what is next? I believe next time we're not going to see a ring. I just think the fan base voted. I think there was enough out there. Hey, we have this ring. Maybe we'll get more ring skirts, mats, some changes to update this ring. But I think going on, we're going to get figures for sure, but maybe it'll be something bigger, not like a ring out there, because I know me and a lot of you guys out there, we don't need more rings, really. We've got enough rings. We have enough ring options, and rings are really honestly tough to display and have out all the time and all that fun stuff, which we've talked about before. From what I have been getting emails and messages from, it sounds like that SmackDown fist is at the top of a lot of people's want list. So, I mean, you give us some SmackDown ring aprons and let us convert that to a SmackDown ring, or any ring convert to a SmackDown ring. Give us the fist stage. I think there's a lot of people that want that. Like I said, that's been the one I've got the most messages on that people said they want, is the SmackDown fist, which is very iconic. Of course it is. What does Kyle want? I said it last time, and I'm standing by it. I want the Night of the Skywalkers. People hate scaffold matches. I know the wrestlers hate scaffold matches, but as little Kyle getting LOD in the Midnight Express up on a scaffold, we don't need a ring. Just give us a scaffold to go over the ring. Give us an LOD Midnight Express pack there. I'm sure that probably can't happen. They don't seem to be making those figures, but how awesome would that be for Kyle? I'd buy like 10. I'd buy 10. You can put me down for 2 already, and I'll probably add to it, because Night of the Skywalkers was such a big deal to 6-year-old Kyle, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. So give me a scaffold, but I just don't see that happen. I think the SmackDown fist is more of a likely request to make its way through. Personally, I want more figure-based sets, though. Outside of the scaffold, if they're going to go on, what I would recommend, and yeah, they could take my recommendation. Hey, if Mattel, if you guys want to contact me and have me as a sounding board, I'll keep it confidential. I'll keep it between us. We need somebody out there, and if it's not me, I'm sure they're going to find somebody. They got to find somebody that has their finger on the pulse, that's actually out there in the stores collecting. You know, the major pod guys are great. They understand it, but, you know, I don't want to say they don't live in the real world. They do live in the real world. They understand it, but they're not out there in the stores. You know, they do get free stuff handed to them and stuff like that, and you know, as they should, of course. But you need to get the real fan collector base, you know, your average Joe out there. That's what you need to find, and you got to pull those people of what they're looking for out there. That's the way I see it. But I think going forward, figures in small play sets. Perfect time for, you know, the funeral parlor, brother love set, the barber shop, of course. Give us stuff like that. Maybe it's the, you know, the barber shop with the rockers and Brutus. I'm just spitballing ideas, but you guys get where I'm going there. How cool would it be to get Sean at the barber shop with Marty through the window, and then you got Brutus there, of course, but you get Sean in that leather jacket. That would be a solid thing, and that's something I think that would get back very easily. It'd be a cheaper price point. I think that's the way to go. I think next time when they do launch, I talked about it in the first video, I think next year we don't launch Mattel Creations. We, like I'm a part of Mattel. But I think here's Mattel's Creations idea from me. Here's my thought how you do this. As we know, we just backed it. It's coming, you know, August, September of 2022 when this is going to come. I don't feel you do the Marvel Legends thing where you wait exactly a year. They had the Sentinel shipping in September. Well, the same time frame a year later, they said, hey, we're going to back Galactus, a full year. What I feel Mattel should do is go to WrestleMania. That was my original idea. WrestleMania weekend. WrestleMania, WWE's at an all-time high for the year. They always have announcements around that time. That is the time to do the next crowdfunding. It'll be, you know, I don't know how many months that is. 7 months away, whatever WrestleMania is. That's when you announce the next crowdfunding effort. Give it, you know, 4 to 6 weeks, whatever the time frame is. But the key here is don't go expensive. Don't go $225. Let's keep it at $150, maybe $150 tops, something like that. Give us one of these play sets, something a little bit smaller, because we're not a full year removed from the ring, so we got to have something smaller, a little lighter on the wallet, but something that's going to be a total slam dunk around WrestleMania that everybody's going to get involved in. Once again, much like this child tax credit that we just got on Friday, we all know around WrestleMania season is tax return season. People will have some income from tax return. Hopefully, if the world's still, you know, chugging along and stuff, people will have money to support something like this. It'll be a smaller project, and then that can get supported. And then maybe you come back, July or August and you do another big one. I'm not sure. I don't know. To me personally, I'd stay away from July and August, but it seems like that's where they wanted to go originally, and that's what they did. But I would try to do WrestleMania every year and have that cycle. But who is to say this is going to be a one-a-year cycle? That's what we're seeing with Star Wars. That's what we're seeing with Marvel Legends. But this is Mattel. They can do things their own way. Maybe it's not going to be something big. Maybe it'll be something as, hey, we have this Shawn Michaels, like I said, Shawn Michaels Barbershop Ultimate Edition. He's got his black leather jacket on, no shirt underneath. It's going to fit into that. Maybe that's all that is backed. Maybe that's what they do, like a Matty collector type situation. So there is a possibility we get something, maybe once a quarter, we get a figure of the quarter or a figure of the month. There's different ways this can go. It doesn't always have to be a huge kit and caboodle, in my opinion at least. So I would love to see something like that, but I would love to see a little cheaper option around Mania 2022, and then you come back hard in 2023 Mania with another big project, or like I said, you do every quarter, every trimester, something like that as a release. I think there's some ideas there. But this could be a multiple once a year thing, or it could be multiple times a year thing. So there's a lot going on there. So that's pretty much it. That was my thoughts on the whole matter. Just wrapping it up, all I can say is what a time to be a collector. Not just a wrestling collector, but whatever you collect. If you're in the Hasbro, Mattel, Super 7, NECA properties, we're getting stuff that I always dreamed of as a kid. Stuff I had to use my imagination or just pretend I was going to have. We're actually getting it in figure form. What a time to be alive. I really do wish a lot of this stuff was around when I was a kid, but at the same time, you wouldn't be able to afford it. You're a kid. You're just stuck to your birthdays and Christmases and every once in a while getting stuff. So it's truly a glamorous time. It is a revolutionary time to be a figure collector. No matter the property you collect, every team is trying to battle for your dollar. Like we always say, the customer, the consumer, they vote with their wallet, and I think a lot of you guys voted for this project and a lot of other projects and a lot of other figures lines out there. So, really we're getting about everything we could have ever dreamed of. And here's to the future. Here's to a lot more. Kudos to everybody that helped push this ring ahead. Kudos to those that promoted the ring and really helped push it. And kudos to everybody that funded the ring. So a lot to celebrate here. I'm glad this video was talking about all the good and it wasn't, okay, this thing failed and this is the reasons why and here's what needed to be done differently. Of course, things needed to be done differently, but at the end of the day, cap this thing off. It was a success. Kudos to everybody. I'm happy. We're all happy. It's just a great time, and it should be a time to celebrate. And I'm sure the Mattel offices, they're getting the cork, they're getting a little bit of the bubbly out there, spraying it all over the place. They're excited because this is truly a win. I can see Steve and Robert putting this on their resume, saying, "Hey, successfully thought of an idea, crowdfunded all this, made X amount of millions of dollars. Bam, there you go." So yeah, there's a lot to like about all this. So there it is. Wanted to wrap it all up. As usual, you guys know, follow me on social media, of course, at Twitter on SirPaul64, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson, ProWrestlingTees.com. Search up Kyle Peterson, support the channel, buy a t-shirt. You guys know how that goes. Follow me on YouTube, subscribe, like, share, comment, share the videos, all that fun stuff everybody tells you. And I do appreciate each and every one of you guys watching this video, watching all my videos out there. So for the ring, for Mattel, for a glorious day to be a wrestling collector, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.